If you have written your conceptual review and your empirical review, now the next thing for you to write is your theoretical review. And what is theoretical review? What does it actually mean? And what theory are you supposed to use? Because there are a lot of theories out there. And how are you supposed to write your theoretical review without sounding like you are copying from a textbook? Don't worry, in this video, I'm not only going to explain what theoretical review is, I'm going to teach you how you can write your theoretical review clearly using a real nursing research topic. So let's begin. The theoretical review is a part of your nursing research project where you introduce a theory or a model that helps in explaining what your study is about or that will help in guiding your study. The theory helps in explaining why people act the way they do. In selecting the right theories for your study, you want to ask yourself some questions like, what am I trying to study? What theory explains this issue? Is there any theory that explains this issue? What theory best fits the relationship between my variables? These are the questions you ask when you want to select a right theory for your study. And how can you answer this question? You can answer this question by going back to your literatures, the papers you downloaded, the one you used for your empirical review, to look at what theories they've used. Then you are going to study those theories and make sure you understand them and look at how they apply it in their own study and look at it. Is it going to fit your own study as well? For example, if I'm conducting a study that has to do with vaccine acceptability among residents, students, or any population, I'm going to use the health belief model because it helps in explaining how people's belief can affect their health decision. So in writing your theoretical review, you are going to use a structure, and the first thing you are going to write is your introduction. You are going to introduce the theory, and also you are going to explain the theory with your research topic in mind, and also you are going to justify why you are choosing that theory for your topic and also relate it to your study variables, like relate it to your research topic. So for example, if I'm conducting a study on nurses' knowledge and attitude towards clinical nursing research and its application to nursing practice, I'm going to choose a particular theory. So for this research topic, I'm going to use the knowledge, attitude, and practice model. Why am I choosing this theory? So I'm choosing it because it has been used worldwide, like almost all the literatures I've searched that are related to my study title, they've used this theory, they've used this model to explain the relationship between their variables, and I also understand the theory, so I can also explain it and I can also apply it better. So there are other theories that I can actually use for this topic, like theory of planned behavior, theory of diffusion of innovation. But I choose this theory because I understand it better and it's the most common that people use. So also keep in mind that if you're writing your theoretical review, you don't need to like structure them. You need to structure, you need to structure, but you don't need to like write like the subheadings. You just have to put them in paragraph format and yeah, you're good to go. So for our introduction, we are going to have something like this. The knowledge, attitude, and practice model is commonly used in nursing and public health research. It explains how knowledge, attitude, and practice are interlinked. Also have it in mind that this is the point where you are going to write the proponent, the name of the theorist behind this theory and the year it was founded, and also you want to move on to now explain the theory with your research topic in mind. So we can have something like this. In this study, knowledge means understanding of nurses about clinical nursing research, and attitude covers their feelings and behaviors about the relevance of clinical nursing research, and the practice has to do with their use of research findings in their daily practice. Now moving on to justify why you chose this theory for this particular topic, we are going to have something like this. This theory is ideal for this study because it helps in explaining how knowledge and belief influences the real world behavior of nurses. And also, if you want to connect this study, if you want to connect this theory to your study, you're going to have something like this. Since this study aimed to assess nurses' knowledge and attitude towards clinical nursing research and its application to nursing practice, this theory provides a perfect framework for interpreting these relationships. Now, in the theoretical review, there's a section that you are expected to talk about the application of theory to the study. Now, in this section, you just want to explain how does this theory, how can you apply this theory to your study. So, using our same research topic, for example, we can simply put that if knowledge is low, is not good enough, future programs can focus on training, and if it's attitude that is poor or is weak, we can focus on changing mindset. And also, if practice is poor despite good knowledge and positive attitude, then we can focus on addressing institutional barriers. Also, there are some common mistakes you should avoid when choosing your theory for your research topic. And the first one is you should not just download a theory, like just copy from a textbook without relating it to your study, variables. And also, another thing I want to talk about is you shouldn't use a theory just because other people are using it, because your research topic is different from their own. So if they are studying vaccine hesitancy or vaccine acceptance, and then you are studying knowledge, or you don't have to use the same theory because you are studying something different and they are studying something else as well. And also, the next thing I want to talk about is you shouldn't use a theory just because it sounds fancy, unless if it sounds fancy and then you can relate it to your study. Yes, and also you should try to use one theory for one study to avoid confusion, because you need clarity and coherence. You don't need any confusion, so just try to stick to one theory per study. And yes, that's all for this video, and see you in chapter 3. Bye.